On August 1, 2024, at a remote loading dock in Fresno, California, the police found a body. He was 30 years old, he was completely nude, and he was alone. Within hours, the detectives had already decided who he was. They saw a type, a statistic. They closed the file before the sun even went down, labeling it a simple, tragic overdose. But as the sun rose the next day, a mother's nightmare was only beginning. Welcome back to Protocol Red. After investigating the vanishing of Emily Vance and the digital ghost of Leo Sterling, we have stumbled into a case where the system didn't just fail to find answers, it destroyed the evidence. Today, we are looking at the death of Spencer Irwin. The authorities were so certain of their overdose narrative that they authorized Spencer's cremation before a single lab result ever came back. They told his family an autopsy was just a formality. But when the toxicology report finally arrived weeks later, it didn't show a relapse. The results were 100% negative. Spencer Irwin died with a perfectly clean system, and the police had just burned the only proof of how he actually died. Part 1: The Cremation of Justice. The Fresno police didn't see Spencer Irwin as a person, they saw him as a convenience. Because he was found nude at a loading dock, they skipped the hard questions. They didn't look for a struggle. They didn't look for a vehicle. They simply assumed a lifestyle of addiction and washed their hands of the paperwork. By the time the negative report proved Spencer had no drugs in his system, the physical evidence of his death was already ash. When his mother, Sherry, asked why an autopsy wasn't performed, she was met with bureaucratic shrugs. The department had authorized the cremation of her son before the science could even speak. This wasn't just a mistake, it was an intentional closing of a door. The system didn't just fail Spencer, it protected whoever left him there by assuming the worst of the victim. Now, without a body to examine, the case sits in a limbo of the department's own making. Part 2: Radical Empathy. To understand the tragedy, you have to understand the man. Spencer was known for what his mother calls radical empathy. He was the kind of person who would literally give the shirt off his back to a stranger in need. There is a deep, haunting irony in the fact that a man known for giving away his clothes was found naked and discarded. He wasn't a man who had lost his way, he was a man who lived his life with an open heart. A heart that the police chose to ignore in favor of an easier narrative. Part 3: The 4-mile walk. On the morning he vanished, Spencer wasn't spiraling. He was moving forward. He was enrolled in school, focused on his recovery, and planning for the days ahead. That morning, he walked 4 miles through the brutal Fresno heat just to get his phone fixed. He wanted to be connected. He wanted to be reachable. That 4-mile walk wasn't the act of a man looking to die at a loading dock. It was the act of someone trying to build a better version of himself. He reached the repair shop, but he never made it home. Somewhere between that shop and that facility, Spencer's timeline was intercepted. The fact that a sober, goal-oriented man ended up nude and deceased miles away should have triggered a massive investigation. Instead, it triggered a shrug. Part 4: The Stranger in the Room. While Spencer's mother was frantic in calling hospitals, a chilling discovery was made at Spencer's apartment. A man she had never seen before was found sitting inside, acting as if he belonged there. He was holding Spencer's keys. He was calm, telling her that everything was fine. Despite this massive red flag, this man was never properly detained or treated as a suspect. He was allowed to walk away with the keys to a dead man's life because the police had already decided Spencer was just another addict. The man in the apartment remains one of the most glaring, unpursued leads in a case full of them. Part 5: The White Kia Soul. Then there is the footage. Surveillance cameras at the restricted loading dock captured a white Kia Soul pulling into the area with its headlights off. It sits in the shadows for several minutes during the time frame Spencer was believed to have died, before driving away. Spencer didn't have a car. He didn't have a ride. He had walked 4 miles earlier that day. How did a sober man end up miles away at a locked facility? The presence of that car is the smoking gun the police refused to track. It suggests that Spencer didn't wander to his death, he was delivered to it. But because the police were blinded by their own prejudice, the driver of that Kia was never hunted. Spencer Irwin was more than a statistic. He was a son whose mother deserves the truth. If you were in Fresno on August 1st, 2024, and saw that white Kia Soul, come forward. Like, subscribe, and share this video to keep the pressure on. We are the only ones left looking. Spencer Irwin's story didn't end at that loading dock. Justice for Spencer. Signal out.